हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरम् भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय। 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 नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम। हरि ओम। We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. ॐ वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य माणिस्तः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम्। We shall chant the first mantra of the first section. of the third chapter. Koyam atmeti vayam upasmahe katarassa atma enava pashyati enava shrunoti enava gandhan agrigrati enava vacham vyakaroti enava svadhu cha svadhu cha vijanati. After revealing the nature of the Supreme Atma and how it expresses as this world of various names and forms, and how one can realize that Atma as our own true self, one can become free of the samsara. If we fail to realize ourselves, we continue to be born in this samsara again and again. So the process of our birth and rebirth was also described in order to create vairagya in our antakarana. And the Shruti also gave the example of Vamadeva Rishi, who, even while in the mother's womb, recognized his real self and became free of all the shackles of bondage. Now, in the third chapter, third and the last chapter, and in this in only one section, the Shruti points out that even in the modern times, sincere seekers can pursue this path and become free, just as Vamadeva Rishi became free. Modern mumukshus and jnanasus also pursuing this path can attain that freedom, moksha. So in order to point out how the modern seekers gain this enlightenment, the Upanishad begins with a question. Many sincere seekers and jnanasus and mumukshus who have assembled together and want to become free of the samsara, they ask this question to each other and contemplate on this question. Ki koyam atma iti vayam upasmahe. That what is that atma? What is this atma which we worship? What we worship in this world as that Paramatma, as Bhagwan, as the creator of this whole world, as Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman, Sarvantaryami, is that Atma alone, which remains in the beginning. All this world remains as that Atma alone, and that Atma alone expresses as this world. And knowing that Atma, one can become free. So the question is, what is this Atma? Koyam Atma iti vayam upasmahe, which we worship. Because when we inquire with the help of the Shastras, we come to understand that there seems to be more than one Atma. One is that which entered from the feet, and one which entered this body through the head. So, in this our physical body, there seems to be two Atmas. But then, through further inquiry and contemplation, one comes to know that there is only one Atma. And that Atma alone is seeing through the eyes, hearing through the ears, smelling through the nose. So, katarassa Atma ena va pashyati. So, is it that the senses are the Atma? Is it that the eyes are the Atma? The ears are the Atma? Or is Atma different from all these instruments? So one should sincerely do this Atma Vichar. So having done this Atma Vichar, all these seekers further came to understand that this one Atma alone is expressing as all these instruments. That is beautifully now presented in the next mantra, mantra number 2. Let us chant. Yadetat hridayam manascetat santjnanam ajnanam vijnanam pragnanam medha drishtihi dhritihi matihi manisha jyotihi smritihi sankalpah kratuhu asuhu कामः वशः इति सर्वाणि एव एतानि प्रज्ञानस्य नामधेयानि भवन्ति. Once more. यदेतत् हृदयं मनश्चेतत् संज्ञानम् आज्ञानं विज्ञानं प्रज्ञानं मेधा दृष्टिः धृतिः मतिः मनीषा ज्योतिः स्मृतिः संकल्पः क्रतुः असुः कामो वश इति सर्वाण्येवैतानि प्रज्ञानस्य नामधेयानि भवन्ति. So all that which was understood as the different instruments, like the eyes, ears, nose, skin, through all these instruments, we come to know the world outside. But what are all these instruments? All these instruments are nothing but expressions of one mind. All these instruments are nothing but expressions of one mind. And that mind is expression of one intellect. That intellect is here indicated as Hridayam. So yadetat hridayam, that which is the hridaya, that which is the heart, that is the intellect, is alone is the mind. Manascha etat is the mind. And this mind alone expresses in different ways, like santjnanam, like sentiency, ajnanam, like command, giving order, vijnanam, like knowledge, scientific, worldly knowledge, pragnanam, other knowledge, medha, ability to understand, drishtihi, that is sense perception, dhritihi, fortitude, matihi, thinking, manisha, genius, jutihi, mental suffering, smritihi, memory, sankalpaha, ascertainment, kratuhu, resolution, asuhu, life activities, kamaha, desires, vasha, passion, iti, etc. Sarvani vai etani, all these are prajnanasya, of prajnanam, namadheyani bhavanti. All these are names of prajnanam. This is the literal translation of this mantra. Let us now think about it. See, when we dive deep into ourselves to find out who am I, we come to understand at outer level ourselves as this body. Generally, maximum people in this world take themselves as the body, only gross physical body. I am this body. That notion we have strongly into our head that I am the body. It's very strong. So we keep taking care of the body. Many people, they criticize someone who is worshipping an idol, saying that this fellow is an idol worshipper. But most of us are idol worshippers only. We take this body as ourself and keep worshipping it, taking care of it, keeping it clean, feeding it, giving it water, food, and entertaining this body, decorating it with wonderful dresses and all. But if we dive deeper into ourselves, we will come to know that this body is also seen by me. I am the seer of this body. I see this body through my senses. I know the body, the height, the weight, the complexion of this body. I know. I can see my own image, my reflection in the mirror. And nowadays we take selfies and videos, and we can see our own body. So I am the seer of this body. Not only this body, I am the seer of this world also. I experience this world. World presents in front of me as Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, as sound, as touch, as sight, as taste, as, as fragrance. I experience this world. So all these instruments are there through which I see the world and I see this body. This body is also made up of same material as that of the world. It is just made from the same material of this world. So I see this body as well as world through my senses. And I identify with those senses and consider them as I. When the eyes are seeing, I say I am seeing. When the ears are hearing, I say I am hearing. But when we further inquire, go deeper into ourselves, we will come to know that these senses are expression of my mind. The senses are the expressions of mind. All the senses get withdrawn into the mind when we go to sleep, when we are dreaming. The mind itself creates the world, dream world. And that dream world also we see, we taste, we touch. So with which eyes do we see the dream world? Those eyes are projected by my mind only in my dream. A person who is sleeping, his eyes are closed, but he is seeing the dream world. So, from where did he get those eyes? Those eyes were projected by his own mind. So, from the mind alone, all these senses have come. The mind is the source of all these senses. But what is the mind made up of? What is the source of this mind? The source of the mind is the intellect, buddhi. And what is the source of this buddhi? The source of this buddhi is pragnanam, which is in English they translate as consciousness, which is that absolute knowledge, which is that supreme Brahma of the nature of knowledge. Jnanam, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That Jnanam itself is called Pragnanam. So that Pragnanam itself expressed as Buddhi. That buddhi alone expresses as the mind. That mind alone expresses as the various emotions and thoughts like Medha, Drishti, Dhriti, Mati, Manisha, etc. And that mind alone expresses as the senses. And through the senses, we see this world. This world is also expressions, further expressions of this, or made up of the same material with which the senses are made. So slowly we will be able to comprehend this. So here the Rishi is saying that all these various expressions of the mind, which are like the Vijnanam, Pragnanam, Medha, Drishtihi, Shruti, Dhritihi, etc., they are all Prajnanasya Namadhyayani Bhavanti. They are all names of Prajna. Names of that Prajna means that Jnanam Brahma, that Shuddha Atma, which is of the nature of Prajnan, that alone is expressing as various these faculties, various expressions, just as we have, let us say, the clay is there, and we make different pots, different material from those clay, and we give different names to those objects. But all of them are different names of clay only. Or let us take another example of gold. So suppose you have gold, lots of gold. And what is it called? It is called gold. Then from that gold you make different ornaments. So when you make those ornaments are also gold. But we name them differently depending on their shape and depending on their function. We name them differently. Some ornaments which we wear around our neck, we call them necklace. We wear around our wrist, they are the bangles. We wear in our ears the earrings, our nose and nose rings. But what are these different names? They are different names of gold. Similarly, all this Vijnanam, Prajnanam, Medha, Drishtihi, Dhritihi, etc., which are mentioned here, they are different names of Prajnanam. That is the main thought which is conveyed here. So the teacher, the Rishi, slowly, step by step, reveals that knowledge. That great Mahavakya will be revealed in the next mantra. But here, he's just revealing that all these are names of that one Prajna. So let us try to understand this mantra with the help of Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Bhashya. So Yaduktam Purastat Prajanam Reto Hridayam Hridayasya Retaha. So this Hridaya is the very essence of this person, and it is called Hridaya. Here Hridaya means the intellect. And the expression of this intellect alone is the mind. So mano, manasa, shrishtihi, apascha, varunascha, from that mind alone, various then things came out, like the water, and the water devata. Also from the mind came chandrama. So hridayan manaha, manasas chandramaha. So chandrama is born, moon is born from the mind. तद एव एतद हृदयं मनश्च एकमेव तद अनेकधा. So this hridaya is one, but it expresses in various ways. It becomes the mind, and the mind further express in various ways. So etena antakaranena anekena chakshu bhutena rupam pashyati. श्रोत्रभूतेन शृणोति घ्राणभूतेन जिघ्रति वाग्भूतेन वदति जिह्वाभूतेन रसयति स्वेनैव विकल्पनारूपेण मनसा विकल्पयति हृदयरूपेण अध्यवस्यति. So this one mind, one antakarana, this buddhi, this mind alone expresses as the senses. So as the eyes it sees, as ears it hears, as nose it smells, as speech it speaks, as tongue it tastes, as mind it thinks, as intellect it understands, it decides. So all these are expressions of that one thing only. See, just as we have this one, the Surya Bhagwan, the sun, which emits that light which is emitted is white light which is emitted, which is given by the sun. But if you keep a prism in between, you will find that light splits into 7 different colors. And the combination and permutation of the 7 colors are again billions of types of colors, shades of colors. So the variety of colors which you see in this world are expression of that one white color only. Similarly, that one Pragnanam, that Brahma, alone expresses as intellect, alone expresses as mana, mind, alone expresses as the senses, and expresses as the various objects. So the variety of expressions are mentioned here in this mantra. So tasmat sarva karana vishaya vyaparakam ekamidam karanam sarva upalabdhyartham upalabdhuhu. So it is that one antakarana only which expresses in different ways by which we come to recognize this world. So the various expressions are mentioned here. We will see. One is Santjnanam, Sapnyatihi Chetana Bhavaha. Santjnana means sentiency. See, when we are awake, our intellect, our mind also seems to be awake. They become sentient. When a person is asleep, the mind, intellect are not sentient. But when they wake up, they are sentient. That sentiency is what is indicated here as Satjnanam. It is also called Chetana. It is the characteristic of this mind, intellect, because of the presence of that Chaitanya. Because of the presence of Chaitanya, this mind, intellect becomes sentient. So that sentiency is called Chetana. In Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagwan talks about the Chetana as Kshetra. Ichha, Dvesha, Sukham, Dukkham, Sanghata, Chetana, Dhritihi. Like that. Etat Kshetram Samasena. All this he calls Kshetra. Means that which is seen. So that sentiency is also dharma, characteristics of our mind, of our intellect. Many people mistake it for that consciousness. In English language, we use the term consciousness for that chetana also. When a person is unconscious, we say is unconscious. Unconscious means that chetana is not there expressing in his mind, intellect. Then he wakes up, he becomes conscious. So the chetana gets expressed. So that chetana is an expression of mind, of the intellect. So that is what is indicated here as santjnanam. So this santjnanam is ultimately expression of the pragnanam only. But now mind, intellect is expressing as santjnanam, as sentiency. So satjnanam, then ajnanam. Ajnanam is to give order, ajna. It's a lordship, that command. The mind, the intellect has got the power to command. It commands the senses also. So that expression of giving command is called ajna, ajnanam. Ajnam, ajnaptihi ishvara bhavaha, that lordship. So this is also an expression of the mind. And ultimately it is an expression of that pragnanam, that pure consciousness. Then vijnanam, kaladi parijnana. Vijnanam means worldly knowledge, knowledge of science, knowledge of arts. These are also expressions of the mind, the intellect. Knowledge is also an expression of the mind, intellect, in the form of words, in the form of sentences, in the form of ideas, in the form of concepts. We say we know something. That knowledge is also expression of the mind. So it's called vijnanam. Then pragnanam. Here the meaning of the word pragnanam is what we call the presence of mind. Presence of mind. Shankaracharya ji right? Prajnaptihi, prajnata. Like depending on the situation, that type of thoughts when it comes, it's called Pragnanam, presence of mind. Various situations we have to face in life, complex situations are there, sometimes totally new, but there are some people who can think properly under those situations and take proper decision and take proper actions. That's called presence of mind. That presence of mind is called prajnanam here. This prajnanam is one of the expressions of the mind. Not that prajnanam Brahma, but this is just an expression of the mind, the presence of the mind. Then medha. Medha is another expression of the mind, another quality of this mind, which is grantha dharana samarthyam, which is the ability to understand a text. When we are studying a text, when we are reading a book, or even when we are listening to someone, that ability to grasp what is being conveyed is called medha. See, sometimes what is conveyed is one thing, but what is understood is something else. What is understood may not be conveyed directly, but is conveyed indirectly. For example, you are walking on the road and then you hear a horn being blown, that honking of a vehicle. So your ears hear that sound. It is just a sound which is, but your intellect tells you that there is danger. I should better walk away from this road, move aside. So you immediately move aside. So you have to move aside. This is not conveyed. What you have heard is only a sound, a horn. But I have to move aside is understood by you. So that is your understanding. Just like when we read the Shastras and all, we have to refer to all the knowledge which we have gathered before. We have to compare, contrast what we have learned before with what we are listening now, and finally understand what is conveyed. So it requires a lot of computation happening in our brain. Then only we will be able to grasp. Like you are listening to my pravachan, those who are listening for the first time, they might get totally confused, may not understand what is happening. But if you have been listening to the pravachans on this Upanishad and previous Upanishads and have all that knowledge stored in you properly, so when I convey certain things, you refer to all those knowledge also and you understand what is conveyed. Because at one time only one sentence can be conveyed, one word can be uttered. But to understand the subject, you require the backing of all the words and sentences and paragraphs which you have heard before. So that ability to grasp what is conveyed or what is written in the text, that ability is called medha. That is the Shakti, power of our mind, of our buddhi, that is being conveyed here. Ki medha. Then drishtihi. Indriya dwara sarva vishaya upalabdhihi. Drishti means the perception through all the senses. With the ears, eyes, nose, we perceive the world. That perception is indicated here as drishtihi, perception. Then dhritihi, dhritihi, धारणम अवसन्नानाम शरीरेन्द्रियाणाम यथा उत्तंभनम भवति धृत्या शरीरम उद्वहन्ति इति ही वदन्ति. Dhriti means that ability to again rise even when our body becomes weak, our mind becomes weak, that from within we bring out that power, that force, that we again get up and start moving. In your life, you must have experienced. Sometimes we become physically extremely tired. We cannot take one step further. Many people, when they go on Tirtha Yatra, they become so tired that they say, oh, enough, I don't want to go further. My body cannot take it anymore. But even in such condition, they again get up and start walking. That is called dhriti. It's a special ability. When you think you have lost all energy, when you think you cannot go ahead, but still you bring out some hidden energy from within and reinvigorate your own body, mind, and move ahead. That is called dhriti. In life, we need this dhriti. And on this path of spirituality, also we need it. Sometimes one may feel totally lost, totally down, weak, disheartened, feeling of failure may come. But again, we should bring out that courage, that enthusiasm, that strength from within and start moving ahead. That's called dhriti. It's the most fascinating power of our own mind and intellect. So dhritihi. Then matihi. Mati means mananam, ability to think. Thinking ability of the mind. See, nowadays with all these computers and the modern, this AI, artificial intelligence, even the machines are taught to think. If you give some command to the machine, it thinks and responds. On this Google search or the chat, GPT, you give some command and it thinks from all the data which it has got, it thinks and gives you the response within seconds. And slowly the ability of these machines is growing in leaps and bounds. Now we know the AI, but in future the AGI will come, which will be million times more powerful than AI. And further, ASI will come, which will be billions and billions of times more powerful. So the ability to think and respond, that ability is also there in the mind, in the intellect. That's called matihi. If we don't use those abilities, then it's a waste. See, many people they buy the smartphones, and those smartphones have many features in them, which generally people are blissfully unaware of them. They have money, therefore they bought a nice, costly smartphone. But they themselves are not so smart enough to understand the smartphone and understand the various features which are there in those smartphones, the various things which you can do with the help of that smartphone. We don't know. Much, much smarter than the smartphone is our own mind, which has got tremendous features, various features, and we are blissfully unaware of them. If we become aware and we utilize them, they will be very, very helpful to us. So here, one of the features of this mind is to think with the help of all the data which is there in our memory. That is brought, and with that we think combination, permutation, all sorts of thinking we do, and then we arrive at an understanding. So that ability to think is what is called matihi, mananam. It's called mananam. And greater than this mananam is what is called manisha. Manisha is again a very fantastic ability. Tatra swatantrayam, Shankaracharya writes, Tatra swatantrayam, freedom to think. Ability, freedom to think means become a master of our thinking. Sometimes a person gets caught up in thinking, they get caught up in a particular way of thinking. Sometimes the society, our friends, our relatives, our family members, the advertisements which we see, the computers which we use, the phone which we are using, all this influences our thinking. We think it is my thoughts, but it is not your thought. The thought is given to you, it's put into your head. See, when you use your phone, let us say you are watching some YouTube videos. If you watch one or two videos, immediately the computer itself will give you suggestions for some other videos. And on what basis it gives suggestion? On the basis of your choice. What you have chosen, what type of thinking you have, what is your age, what's your political inclination, what's your religious beliefs, what wealth you have, what purchases you do. All these things are known to the computer, to this, and based on that, based on the algorithms and all, it gives suggestions. Sometimes it forces some suggestions into your head. So we are influenced by our thinking, by the world to think in a particular way. But a Manishi is one who has power over his own thinking. He has got the ability to say no to your thinking. He has the ability to think in a particular way, even against the general ideas and views. Such Manishi should be only a Manishi can follow this path of spirituality because he has to go against the current. The world, the current which is there will be of samsara only. So to think against the general current and to move in the direction of moksha requires that strong ability of the mind to think independently, to think without the influence of the external factors. That power is called Manishi, Manisha. So here Bhagavan mentions it, Tatra Swatantriyam. He just uses one word. Shankaracharya doesn't use more words to convey, but when we contemplate, we come to comprehend the depth and the beauty of his words. Then Jyutihi Chetasaha Rujari Dukkhitva Bhavaha. The Jyoti is mental suffering. Sometimes we get tortured by our own body, by all sorts of negative thinking and all. Mental suffering owing to disease also, physical disease, or sometimes mental problems. So we get that suffering from our own mind, negative thoughts, keep on coming into our head. So that is Jyotihi. Then Smriti. Smriti is Smaranam, memory. Memory comes. And this memory also are not under our control. At what time, what we will think and what we will remember. Some thoughts, some things in the world triggers that memory. You go to a new place, some smell, some fragrance, something you see triggers some memory. So this is also taken advantage of by the modern equipment, the computers, the TV, the advertisements. They, through some words, through some music, through some sights, they trigger the appropriate memories in your head. And influenced by that memory, we work. So Smriti, Smaranam, Sankalpaha. Sankalpa, decision. We decide to do something. Shukla Krishnadi Bhavena Sankalpanam Rupadi Nam. To ascertain Sankalpanam Kratuhu, Kratuhu decision, Adhyavasaya, Asuhu Pranadi Jivana Kriya. So all this Kratuhu, then Asuhu, Kamaha, Vashaha, iti sarvani eva etani prajnanasya namadeyani bhavanti. All these are expressions of that prajnanam, that supreme pure consciousness alone expresses as our intellect, as our mind, and that mind alone expresses as the various types of qualities And the mind alone expresses as the senses, and the senses experience, perceive this world. So there is a beautiful connection which we see. So as we look at the world, we see variety. But as we go toward the source, we come to know that all these varieties are expressions of one. And that one is Pragnanam, the pure consciousness. So more about this we will see. We have not completed this mantra. So we will see this mantra and the following mantras in our class on Monday. Till then, you take care, because this is very important, and the famous Mahavakya will be revealed, the Pragnanam Brahma, that we will see in our class on Monday. Till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, and we will meet again soon. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Siya Ramchandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.